Hi, Matt with Etrailer. If you have a 2020 Ford F-150 and you're looking for something that's just going to be really easy to work with, not only with maneuvering your bikes, but taking this rack on and off of your vehicle, then the Thule T2 XTR Bike Rack is going to be a great option for you. So let's check it out. What I like about this rack a lot is how it's working with the F-150. So no matter what type of bike you really have back here, it's going to work well. Because if you look on the back, you can tell there's a ton of space here and it's not going to make contact with anything. No matter if it's a smaller frame bike or if it has extra wide handlebars, even if you have a camper shell, you're going to be good. Now the one spot I really do notice making contact with anything is actually when we open up our tailgate. I'll show you what that looks like now. And maneuvering this rack is going to have a pretty good tilt. So even if you have those 60-pound heavy e-bikes, which is going to be this rack's capacity for 2 bikes, then you'll be able to tilt that back pretty easily still. Now just make sure when we open up our camper shell, we do both latches and we can lower this down. You notice at the very end here, we're just barely going to make contact. So I think this is fine if you're just trying to open this up quickly, need to throw something wider or smaller back here, you won't have an issue there. Now if you have anything that has a lot of heft or weight on it, like any tools, I wouldn't recommend doing that because it could damage the rack. But once you're done, you can push this back up and latch your camper back down. Now if you want to take a closer look at this rack, I'm going to take off my bike. So what I like to start is with this back tire. So we're going to have this ratcheting strap here. And the reason why I say ratcheting is because with this type of clip, you can actually pull this down and can make it tighter. Makes loading this up much easier. But once we're ready to take it off, you're going to push down instead. You can tuck this away. And on the front side, we're actually going to have just a front ratcheting hook. We'll also have a integrated bike cable lock, so you have some extra security there. All you have to do to operate this is just find that lever, push up on it, and push that over to the side. And from here, you can pick it off and take it off. Now, I will say, what I like is we're not making any frame contact, which is nice, so it's great for those alternative carbon frame bikes or any bike with a really nice paint job. What isn't great though is just the height of that. So if you do have those 60-pound bikes, that might be kind of a difficult lift to take this on and off your vehicle. And from here, just make sure you do clean up. So we're just gonna be putting these straps back into place. These also do go up and down the tray to accommodate for different wheelbases. And we can put this back up because you don't want to drive around like that because it could hit another vehicle. But with everything packed up, we can get a few measurements. The first one I like to get is going to be our ground clearance. Like I said, this is sitting pretty high up, but that's also a good thing because we go from our lowest point, we'll be at 29 inches from our lowest point. So you're not going to be likely of making contact with anything on the ground even if you're going up those really steep hills or driveways. Now for the distance it's going to be sitting out, we go from our back bumper to the back of the carrier. This is going to be a little bit over 38 inches. So for a 2-bike carrier, that is going to be sticking out quite a bit. But you can fold this up. It's going to be the opposite way of how you tilted it, only pushing up now. And now it's going to latch in here. And if we measure, this is only going to stick out just about by 17 inches. So that's going to save you a ton of space. But since we got this folded up now, it will block a few things. The main thing is going to be your license plate. That's going to be fully obstructed. But that's pretty common with most racks on the back of the F-150. And the next thing it's going to block is going to be your backup camera. Now you might be able to see through some gaps on it, but I wouldn't rely on using that backup camera. But you could use your mirrors or the back window, especially since this isn't going to block anything up here, and it's not going to block your taillights either. And the way this is going to install is we're going to have a 2-inch shank that goes into your 2-inch hitch receiver. We'll also have this hook here. This is going to act as your pin. What I like about this is you can actually pull that out now. And if we go to the back of the carrier, you'll notice we have this knob. This is going to be your anti-rattle knob. It's going to have a lock core on it, so it's going to give you that extra security so no one can take your rack. It's going to use the same key system as your integrated bike cable lock. And once I have this loosened up, we can remove this. That's part of the reason why I like this is we don't have to use any tools. Everything's just built in. Now I can tell it's kind of wiggling around a little bit. I can take this out. And what's great about this process is once you do that, it is a little bit heavy. So instead of just carrying it from point A to point B, you're going to have some wheels on the bottom of it. So you'll be able to roll this to your destination. In my opinion, I think this is a pretty solid option, especially if you're looking for something that's not going to live on the back of your Ford F-150 full time. You want something that's going to be a little bit easier to transfer to your garage. Now, if you want something that's going to live on here more so full time, or you don't have that much space in your garage, then I'd recommend the Rocky Mounts Backstage, because it's going to be a very similar design to this, and it's going to have very similar specs too. But the biggest thing that's going to offer you is it's going to have a swing away arm on it. So you actually be able to pivot that all the way around so you can access the back of your tailgate with your bikes on or with them off. Now you could get a swing away arm for this one too, but usually with the swing away arms, if they're built into the rack, they typically just work a little bit better. But again, if you're just going to be using this part of the time, it's not going to be living on the back of the vehicle, then I'd probably just go with this one. But if you need a better look at some other options that we have, I actually have a best of video talking about which one's going to be the best for the Ford F-150. But again, this was just a look at the Thule T2 XTR bike rack on the back of our 2020 Ford F-150. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.